Welcome everyone to the Bowlercast episode number 3, and today we're going to be talking about round 2 content, round 3 playoffs, and maybe the future pre-order for NBA Live 20. With me today, I've got co-host Tyler. Say hi, Tyler.
Hey, how we doing?
Good. And we've got Alex here on the mic. And we're going to go straight and jump into the playoffs round 2 content. And if anyone wants to see all of the cards, they are on Dennis S's Twitter. Really good for all the current content and stuff that's out in the game. So let's jump straight into this. So first, we'll start off with the Boston Celtics, I think.
Yes. So, we'll start off with Jason Tatum now.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty good-looking card.
91 small forward and 87 87 defense. He's got good posts and good rebounding, nice finishing, nice speed. Expected his dribbling to be a bit higher because he's a really good, well, not really good, but he's a good dribbler for him.
Yeah, I think it is a bit of an underwhelming card. There's only one stat in the 90s. I mean, he does have a good 3-point shot and a good speed. But besides from that, I don't think he's doing a lot of things quite well. He's just a very average card.
Yeah, I do see better small forwards in the game, definitely than this in the 90s.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't think he's worth getting. I mean, if he's super cheap, which he might be because he's a cheap player, then maybe go and get the card. But besides from that, I don't think it's really worth it. I think we should try and avoid getting this card if you see him around. Let's move on to Marcus Morris next. Now, this is a pretty underrated card. I think the biggest stat for me is the 88 3-pointer. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, it is. Defense should be a bit higher because he's a good defense, a defensive player. He's got higher dribbling than Jason Tatum, which is surprising. He's a power forward as this, and he's got 86 speed, which is really good for a power forward. He is 6'9", so I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
92 finishing, 91 mid-range, definitely a good all-around card. If you can get this for like maybe $250K, because this is probably a similar card to Derek Favors where it's not really popular with people. So I think another one swept under the rug, and I think definitely worth getting for $250K. I think you reckon, right?
I think he's pretty well rounded. I mean, 79 dribbling for a power forward is pretty good. It is a power forward. This isn't, a small forward playing power forward or a point forward. He's got great speed. He's got a really good mid-range, great finishing, great post-game. The only thing he really lacks is a bit of rebounding, but that's probably because of his height.
Well, he's got better rebound than Al Horford.
But Al Horford's been known to not really be that great of a rebounder. It's pretty historical. But talking about that Al Horford card, he does have a good 3-point shot and a surprisingly high defensive and finishing rating as well.
Yeah, he's 94 posts. I think it's like equal heights in the game. 93 finishing, 89 mid, 82 speed is very good for Al Horford. And again, that 86 3-pointer, best 3-pointer in the game for centers. I pulled him and I've hung on to him, and I definitely use him as my starting center.
I mean, he even has pretty good dribbling. He's got an 82 speed, which is fine, and a very underrated mid-range at 89. So he'd be probably the most perfect pick and pop center in the game.
Yeah, he's got a good release as well, for one of the better center releases in the game, I reckon. It is, like all center releases, it is slow a little bit, but it is quite easy to green when you're wide open. The finishing is good because I don't think Al Horford's a great finisher in the NBA, but
no. So I think they definitely boosted that stat way more than it reflects accurate stats in real life.
And 87 defense for Al Horford. He's improved his defense when he's gotten to Boston, but overall, his career hasn't been a great defender. But he's 87 defense is good.
I think the only weakness he has is his 83 rebounding. I mean, rebounding is pretty important in this game, I think, and it's very overlooked. So I think rebounding is very, very important. But, I mean, you have to sacrifice something for the best shooting card in the game at center position.
Yeah, well, the 83 rebounding for a 6'10" center, that could be a bit of a weakness. So
but besides from that, look, I'm willing to sacrifice a bit of rebounding for a really good shooting center. I mean, you could even run him off your bench and run someone like Wilt, in the starting center position.
Yeah, definitely. So next up, we've got finally for the Celtics, 96 Kyrie.
I mean, I don't really know what to think about this card. I think the biggest thing that stands out for me is the 78 defense. I mean,
that's
the
really
point guard.
crap.
The point guard position, you need to have high defense because you're guarding explosive players. Like Westbrook, Lillard.
John Wall,
Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
So I think you need to have a good defensive rating in the point guard position. So that really doesn't make this card worth it to me. So I think he's not that good just based on his defense. And because he's the highest rated card in the game, or one of them, he's going to go for a ridiculous price. And with that defensive rating, I don't think it's worth it.
You'd be surprised with what price he is right now. I've seen him up for 500k, 600k, so that's not actually too bad, but it's probably because of the defense, because if you're going up against a 96 Ben Simmons, who's 6'10", you won't be able to guard him, I don't think, because he'll just drive right past you. But 500k for Kyrie, 96 overall, which is really good.
Look, I honestly think you're better off getting the Ben Simmons that we'll talk about later on.
Yeah.
I mean, you sacrifice a bit of shooting, but you gain height, defense, length, and strength. So I think he's just not worth it for the 78 defense. I mean, if you can get him for maybe under 300k or something, snipe him, but I don't think
people don't think would put him up for that much.
I mean, I don't think he's worth it. Just with that defense, is such a liability. Defense is very, very important in this game. Well, let's move on to the Denver Nuggets. We've got
Monte Morris.
Well, on Dennis's tweet that he put out, he doesn't have any stats on the card. So I might get you to go through the stats because it looks like it's just a default card.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate, but I don't have the stats, I don't think. But he does bring a spark off the bench in real life and should bring a spark off the bench for your team here.
I mean,
I haven't really seen him on the auction house.
An 88 rated card isn't really going to do much when all these big cards are coming out. I mean, I think Jamal Murray would be a lot better fit in terms of the Nuggets point guard of preference. And speaking of Jamal Murray, let's go over some stats we can actually see. We've got the 93 Jamal Murray. What do you think of this card?
92 finishing, 91 speed and 90 dribbling, 89 3. He's 6'4", good height, 93 point guard. I suggest again 250 to 300k or probably 300k because this is a good point guard in the game.
I think
the defense is a bit lacking because in real life he can.
I mean, it's still better than that Kyrie Irving, and it's a card 3 overalls lower.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, if you look at the defense, it's
5 overall ratings at an 83.
Better finishing, 1 less 3-pointer, better defense.
I mean, the dribbling's the only big stat difference. They've got the same rebounding.
Yeah, but Kyrie's known for dribbling, obviously, so no surprises there.
But look, I think Jamal Murray is the better pickup, and he'll go for a lot less coin, and he'll be a better, lengthier defender, probably more athletic than Kyrie.
Yeah, definitely. He'll be able to dunk the ball.
And I think dunking with a point guard is just so satisfying. So, I mean, I would definitely take this Jamal Murray. You'd save a lot of coins, and Kyrie is just going to end up being a liability. I mean, if you pull him, sell him, buy Jamal Murray, and you'll be up a few 100k, and you'll have a great starting or backup point guard.
We'll go on to Paul Millsap now. I think this is probably one of the best cards in the game, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's got 91 defense and 94 finishing, 87 speed, which is really, really good. He's got 86 rebounding, which could be higher, but 93 post, 88 mid. I mean, this is just, I suggest this one of my most suggested cards for round 2 playoffs. I've heard a lot of good things about this on Twitter. I've seen a lot of people suggesting him to pick him up, and I suggest him too. This is definitely probably the best high rated power forward, I reckon.
One of my favorite players in the league. He's always been a great defender. Added the 3-point range to his game. Always been a good mid-range shooter. I mean, the defense alone is great. I know his rebound's a bit lackluster, but he's not the tallest power forward in the world. So, I mean, he can sacrifice a bit of rebounding for some great shooting, great finishing, great post, amazing speed. I mean, he's really got no weaknesses besides his dribbling.
But that's expected. But even with the 6'8" height, you've still got 91 defense, so it's way more than manageable. It's like it's elite to have this card, I reckon.
That's why I don't worry about the height in this card, because he has such a good defensive rating, whereas that Kyrie is much more of a liability.
And the 94 finishing as well. 6'8", 94 finishing. He'll be really usable in this game.
I think he'll be a pretty great overall card.
So the final one is 96 Nikola Jokic, 7-foot center, 85 defense, 85 3-pointer, 95 post, which is the best in the game.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced.
94 finishing.
I'm still
really?
Not convinced
You don't
about
like this card?
I'm just not. He's very slow. His defense isn't that great. Got pretty below average rebounding.
He's got good dribbling, 80 and 81 speed. The dribbling is expected because he is probably
point center,
the best passing center and the best dribbling center at least.
But I just don't.
Rebounding could be higher.
I'm not convinced on this card fully. I think that he's great, but I don't think he's as good and deserves the 96 rating. I mean, he probably was the best Nuggets player, but I'm still not sold on how expensive this card will be. I mean, the Al Horford would probably be a better pick. He'd be a lot cheaper, and he really only has one rating worse on rebounding.
Yeah, and he's got better speed, better. I think he's got equal mid range at an 89. He's got
better defense,
worse dribbling, but that doesn't really matter that much for center. He's got one less post, but he's got one less.
A better 3-point rating, better defense, only rebounding down by 1, only post down by 1, great finishing, better speed. So I think the Al Horford will be cheaper and better.
Well, I think either one of these is great choices. Just depends on what the prices will be. I presume this Jokic will probably be, although this game you don't really know what price it could really be.
It depends on how many packs people pull.
Yeah, so if you get this, maybe 500k would be a good price, 96 overall. And I think the Al Horford would probably be half that maybe, or 300k. So look, I suggest Horford, but Jokic is equal to the challenge with this card.
Yeah, I still think Al Horford is the better choice to save some coins, and he can do pretty much everything Jokic does better. So that's my pick. Yeah. I mean, if you love Jokic, go for it, but you're going to save money and other things in the process. So I think it's definitely worth going for him. And I think we're going to jump on to the Rockets.
Yes.
So we've got a PJ Tucker with no ratings on the screen.
Yes, but I will read them for you.
Thank you.
That's good. So he's got 82 speed, 84 mid-range, 83 finishing, 84 3-pointer, 77 dribbling, 80 post, 81 rebounding, 88 defense. Look, it's all rounded in every stat apart from dribbling.
But it is a small forward, so dribbling's really never going to be a concern. You just want shooting and defense.
Yeah. But the other stats, apart from the defense, aren't the greatest. If you're looking for a good, cheap 3-and-D guy, this is probably the way to go.
He'd be a good bench small forward.
Yeah. The 88 defense is good. 83, 84 3-pointer is good. I definitely think this is an all-rounded card. And if you can get him for cheap, like I'd probably say maybe 50K. What would you suggest? Would you suggest that?
Yeah, I think 50 to 70K. Probably going towards 50 would be the better choice. So now we're moving on to the other cards. There's 2 96s left and a 95. I think that's a bit ridiculous that there's 3 cards over 95 or over in the Rockets. I mean, I don't think it's that deserving besides from James Harden. I think Eric Gordon could have easily been a 93, Chris Paul 94 to 95. I mean, I don't see why those cards are both so high. I mean, Chris Paul is the most underwhelming card I've ever seen, and he's 96. But let's jump on to Eric Gordon before I get too far ahead of myself. Eric Gordon, great card.
Yeah.
Great card.
I think this is, I want to say, best shooting guard in the game. I don't know if I'm going a bit too far there, but if you look at his stats, it's so well-rounded. I mean, he's got 6 out of the 8 stats that are 90.
I mean, he can even rebound and post up in the shooting guard position. I don't know what was happening when this card was made, but I don't mind the outcome because it's a card that's turned out pretty cool to have. One of the best 6 men in the league get a good card like this.
I mean, hell, I'd probably want to get this card. He's got 90 finishing, mid-range, and 3-pointer, and defense. So this is an amazing card. 93 speed, 94 dribbling, 86 posts. You can do even a little bit.
I think I do agree with you. Best shooting guard in the game.
Yeah. I mean, the only weakness is that he's 6'4", but I mean, again, I don't really notice the difference with height that much.
Even running him at point guard and post up, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to switch the matchup around and have him at point guard.
Well, he plays small forward in real life, actually. So they run such a small lineup with Chris Paul, Harden, and a 6'4" Eric Gordon at the small forward, which is unbelievable to think about. Look, it works some of the time, but most of the times it does work some of the time. But obviously against the Warriors, it didn't work, I guess.
I mean, I'm really disappointed in this Chris Paul card.
Yeah,
one of the
91
best point guards of all time. Probably top 3 pure 10 point guards of all time.
Yeah, I reckon top 10 overall.
Yeah,
I reckon,
and
definitely.
They've disrespected a multiple all-defensive NBA team caliber player with an 85 defense.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, he's got.
But look, they gave
good all-around
Eric
stats
Gordon
again.
a 90 defense. Eric Gordon, a 6-man who guards.
Yeah, that is pretty ridiculous.
Who guards bench players, and you've got Chris Paul, who's guarded the best point guards in the league for over a decade, and he's got an 85 defense.
And in a minute, when we tell you about this James Harden card, it's really going to surprise you.
I've already seen it. I mean, it's still better than the Chris Paul.
After this, we will discuss the unbelievable stat on the James Harden card. But the Chris Paul, I mean, 88 speed, 89 dribbling. I expect him to have way higher dribbling in the 90s, like 92 maybe.
Also,
look, I know he didn't have the best season,
but he should have higher speed as well. I think he's 6 foot. So he's fast. He's quick.
He's 6 foot. Yeah,
he can dribble. He can dribble very well. I mean, he might not be flashy, but his IQ and his passing and his dribbling are very strategic and planned. I mean, he's not a highlight reel, but he is one of the best, most efficient players in the league.
Yeah,
in terms of productivity, and he's just got horrible stats. I mean, a mid-range for a 6 foot point guard really is never going to be used, and every other stat besides that is below 90.
Yeah, I'd like it to be swapped around the mid-range and the 3-pointer. I mean, Look, he didn't have the best season this year, but I still think you got to give higher stats than this. Look, people will still want to get this, but a 96 overall that's got these stats, I would have expected higher at least for 96.
I wouldn't spend over 200k for this card.
Really?
No way. 190 stat as a 96 rated card. Are you serious?
Yeah, true. You can get.
I've seen 80 I've seen mid 80 cards with better stats. So I think that card had a lot of potential, but it didn't follow through. I think now onto your James Harden. I'll let you talk about him.
Yeah. Well, I'll mention his ridiculous stat in a sec, but this card's really good actually. At least the offensive side, obviously. Dribbling 93, speed and finishing 95, which is like the best in the game. 92 mid-range, 88 3, which I did expect it to be at least a 90 because his last card only had like an 85 3-pointer, so I expected it to be higher. 81 rebounding, 79 posts, and this ridiculous stat, Chris Paul and James Harden have the same defense.
Yep, I was really holding back from saying anything about that.
Yeah.
I can't even explain this. I mean, James Harden's literally only an offensive player, and Chris Paul is one of the best one of the best cards, in any game, and he's just got such a bad overall and stat wise for this card. It's just unexplainable.
I mean, it kind of baffles me that he's got the same defense 85 as James Harden. I mean, James Harden has been one of the worst defenders in the past 5 years, like probably top 5 or something. And then like Chris Paul's been one of the best defensive point guards of the last 10 years. Like, it's been known that Chris Paul is a good defender, and it's been known that James Harden is not. And to have the same defense is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's pretty disrespectful to Chris Paul.
Yeah,
I know James Harden was a previous cover athlete, but increase his 3-point rating or his mid range.
Yeah, definitely.
And leave that.
No, his mid range is 92.
If Kyrie, I mean, I could even see Harden with a 95 mid range. I mean, if Kyrie Irving had a 78 defense, James Harden should have a 70 defense.
Well, I mean, Kyrie is not that much better, but with a 78 defense, it's definitely not.
I mean, that's probably what Harden should have had.
Yeah, he should have had below 80. I mean, 80 should have been the cutoff point, but 85 it's not good. It's not good for the stat to be 95.
Yeah, I think let's move on from the Rockets because that's probably the most disappointing team in the whole set. Let's go on to probably
apart from Eric. Yeah,
let's go on, but it's still disappointing because he doesn't deserve those ratings, but it's still a good card.
Great card.
Let's move on to the Sixers, probably the most balanced set out of all.
It's the most stacked as well. It's got highest rating out of all the teams. 94, 95, and 2 96s, and I think it is deserved actually because they were
3. All-star caliber players and one of the best role players in the league and upcoming players in Tobias Harris. And if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah. I think because you've been hyping this card up a lot, I think you should talk about this card.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Tobias Harris. I mean, ever since his second or third year in the league. Amazing card. Can play small forward, power forward, can guard multiple positions. As you can see, he's got very well-rounded stats, a really good 3-pointer. I think the best 3-point rating for a power forward in the game. And
Dirk Nowitzki's got, I think, the only other highest one, but still to your point, it's still
ridiculously high.
Great
still good. Finishing, amazing mid-range, incredible speed, great post, amazing rebounding. Really good dribbling as well. I mean, his only weakness is defense, but I think his athleticism makes up for his lack of defense.
Yeah. Well, if again, back to this point, we've rambled on about this for about 10 minutes combined. But again, with the James Harden defense, it's still baffles me that they gave this guy a 79 defense. I mean, he's not the best defender, but he's better than James Harden at this.
No, he's a very good defender. I mean, he's not amazing every possession, but he does have a lot of great contributions on the defensive end per game, and I think he is very good, and times his defensive plays well throughout the game. So I think he deserved at least an 82.
Yeah, that would be well balanced defense, and then the card would be even better.
I mean,
89 speed.
I understand making it low so he just wasn't the best power forward in the game outright. I mean, but you could have lowered his rebounding or his mid-range and put up his defense because, I mean, it's kind of made him as not appealing, but, if you know his true potential, he's a great card. I mean, let's go on to Jimmy Buckets, one of my favorites as well. I mean, this Philadelphia team is stacked with the best, young and mid-career players in the league.
Well, like this Eric Gordon, it's got really good, really high 90 stats, 94 finishing, 94 defense, no surprises there, 90 mid, 91 speed, 90 dribbling, 87 posts, 83 rebounding, and 86 three-pointer. So I remember the 92 All-Star Paul George was similar to this card, so this is just a higher rate of Paul George, probably a bit better at least. I mean, so I definitely like this card.
The only weakness is if this card had like a 89 to 93 pointer, it would be the best shooting guard in the game. Even though it's a small forward position, he is a shooting guard. We all know this.
Well, he does play small forward this season.
He still is a shooting guard, though.
Yeah, I guess.
And he would be the best small forward. Well, in that, I think it's hard to judge, but he might be, top 3 small forwards easily, if not the best. And I mean, if he had an 89 to 93 pointer, he'd be one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah, I think top 3 is, season stars LeBron, this Jimmy Butler, and maybe that Vince Carter, maybe. Because they're about the same. So, or the Paul George maybe might squeak into that top 3 of mine. So
that Vince Carter was pretty good. Well, let's jump on to the fellow Aussie, Ben Simmons.
Yes, Ben Simmons.
I mean, the best thing about this card is that he has an 81-3, and I've hit 3-pointers, in live with 81 ratings very, very consistently.
Oh yeah, definitely easy to hit them with that.
Especially with his length. I mean, not many point guard defenders will be able to guard him. He'll just be able to shoot over everyone.
Look, I know this is different with the 3-pointer, but I can shoot, Dirk Nowitzki, 7 foot, other power forwards, maybe 6'10", 6'9". I'm able to still shoot over them contested because he's tall, he's got a high arc release. And, if you can use that as your strength sometimes when you're contested on like a 6 foot point guard, when you've got 10 inches of height difference, well then you'll definitely be right. And this is definitely one of the top 3 cards I reckon to get in this game with a 95 finishing, 90 speed, 88 mid-range. Again, doesn't shoot that many mid-ranges, but I can kind of get that rating. 86 rebounding, 85 posting, 91 dribbling. This is definitely one of the top 3 cards in the game, out of round 2 at least.
Yeah, I mean, crazy stats and probably the best point guard in the game. I mean, the height alone is the advantage, and the fact that this one can shoot both the mid and the 3 very consistently is great. And now the final card, Joel Embiid.
Yeah, with this one, I don't really like it personally. I have a Nick Vucevic who's a 94, and they've 95, who basically have the same stats.
Yeah, I think this is the most underwhelming card of the Sixers set.
High-rated card, as well.
Speed for the whole is, I get the speed. The mid-range should be higher, maybe around a 90. The 3-point rating should be around an 86. I mean, if Tobias Harris got an 89, defense is okay. Rebounding should be higher, and post is understandable.
Well, I'm comparing him to my Nick Vucevic, who's lower rated by 1, cheaper as well. Vucevic has got better speed. He's got better mid-range. He's got the same finishing, same three-pointer, better dribbling, but that doesn't really matter in this game. He's got 2 less posts. He's got the same rebound and the same defense. So basically the same player, but the only difference is that Vucevic will probably be way cheaper now that these cards have come out, and Embiid will be way more expensive because you can only get him through the box toppers unless you're lucky in the packs that you get for completing the challenges, or if you get him off the auction house, which I don't know what price I would put him up for, but I presume close to $1 million.
Yeah, he's a very overhyped player in the league. I mean, understandably, he's got a lot of hype around him, but often those players just come with a higher price tag on the auction house. So I'd watch out for him. I think there's a lot better centers for cheaper that can do a way better job than him. But that concludes our playoff round 2 talk. Now, as of today, the
Blazers got knocked out.
The Blazers got knocked out, and I think we're expecting 4 Blazers cards. So
once again,
I'm predicting a 97 or 96 Dame Lillard. A 95
I'm expecting
or
a
96 CJ McCollum.
90, yeah. Canada, I'm expecting like a 92. And then it's really a toss-up between 3 players, I guess, between maybe Aminu, maybe Harkless, maybe Hood. Hell, Myers Leonard had a freaking good game today and 30 points, would you believe?
I think it's between Leonard and Kanter. I mean, a lot of people really like Kanter.
Well, Kanter's going to be the 3rd player, though. So that's why I'm saying like the fourth player would probably be Hood. I reckon maybe I'd like to see like an 89 Rodney Hood be a really good cheap budget option. Should have okay defense, but the 3-ball should be quite high as well. 6'8" shooting guard as well. I definitely like to see that as the 4th player for the Blazers, because Aminu and Harkless probably wouldn't get as much hype. I think you'd agree.
Yeah, I mean, Aminu has always been a great role player, but I mean, everyone's been excited about Rodney Hood's play this postseason. So it would be nice to see him get some acknowledgement for, him kind of coming out of his shell and getting rid of that reputation he's had as not being a superstar or anything in these playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the first round he kind of struggled. Second round he was really good. Haven't heard much in the 3rd round apart from Dame Lillard and CJ, but they haven't been excellent. But
Dame Lillard and CJ have been horrible.
Yeah. So, I think today they had a good game with 28 each or 26 and 28. But apart from that,
I think that was just they gave all their effort, because coming back 3-0 is just ridiculous. I mean, it's pretty demoralizing.
Yeah. I mean, I think Steph Curry's averaged like 36 for the series, which is insane. Like,
got a triple-double today as well.
Yeah. So he's been on fire without KD. I've been hearing a lot of people saying, they don't need KD now.
Well, they never needed him. I mean, now that LeBron's not surrounded by great players, he's not a threat anymore. The only reason they needed KD was to stop LeBron, who was the best player on the planet and still is. I think now that he's on a team where he's no competition, they don't really need Durant or Cousins because they don't need to stop LeBron. I mean, LeBron can single-handedly 1v5 all of them and still have a close game every night and drop 50, all 7 games or majority of the 7 games. So now that he's not a threat, Durant can rest and worry about getting his, 3rd ring and leaving. I mean, yeah, so I think it's good seeing the throwback Warriors and a team that people actually like playing, because with Durant, it's just forced basketball rather than team basketball.
Well, yeah, with Durant and Cousins, it's now like the most hated team in probably all the sports in NBA America.
History.
Yeah, definitely. But the old boys without KD and Cousins, it was just Steph, Clay, line up the scoring, Draymond Green doing everything.
Draymond, they've got Bogut back. They've got Iggy. I know he's out at the moment, but that old core was the exciting Warriors to watch, and the Warriors with KD is just the Warriors are going to win the championship. And now it's actually interesting to see them perform well, and because they have to rely on Steph and Clay, whereas before they had 5 All-Stars to choose from. I mean, inevitably one of them is going to get hot.
If Steph's not hot, then it's going to be Clay. If it's not Clay, it's going to be KD. If it's not KD, maybe Cousins.
And then if it's not Cousins, it's Draymond dishing out like 15 assists and 20 points or something. Yeah. So there's always going to be someone who's hot, and if not, it's going to be Iggy playing amazing defense, or it's going to be the crazy bench players that they have as well. Livingston running point. I mean, they've got an endless. I don't even know how this team is legal. It actually makes no sense. I don't know what the NBA commissioner was thinking, allowing all these trades to happen. He didn't allow the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers, but allowed this trade and even more.
Personally, as a Lakers fan, I was gutted that he vetoed the trade.
As a Chris Paul fan, I'm gutted as well, because he could have had a championship or two, and he'll probably never get one now.
Yeah. Yeah, because what is he usually like? I think he's like 35 or 36 or something, or like he's 34 at least. Old.
I mean, he's going to have a long career because he's a point guard who doesn't need athleticism and has adjusted his game. But
he can facilitate to like Harden and all that.
I can't see him being on a team on a position to win a championship unless the Warriors dismantle and he goes and joins the Raptors or the Bucks next year, or the Sixers. I couldn't see him being on a team getting a championship until his career ended.
Yeah, unless like he goes to contending team when he's like super old, like 40 or something.
Yeah, I mean, unless he goes on a veterans contract to the Warriors next year as their bench point guard. I mean, I can't see it happening, but that's I think. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Future content? The Bucks and the Raptors are still going, so we don't really know what's happening there. I mean, all the games, I think the series might go longer than people expect. The Bucks just aren't finding a groove.
Well, it's 2-1 to the Bucks, and
the Bucks have played 2 horrible games, but they somehow won the first game.
Yeah.
They stole the first game.
Off the back of like Book.
But I think they stole the first game, and they couldn't get pulled through this game as everyone was getting fouled out in 6 million OTs.
And then, like, the second game, like, they crushed them. But then this game, like, Giannis had a terrible game with 12 points. Like, if he put up, like, an extra 13 or something, they would have won, I reckon. And then Leonard went off for 36. He had, like, a clutch steal late. It was, like, a minute to go. They won in OT by 6 points. So it's 2-1 now, and it's back to Toronto again. So I think if this goes 2-2, I don't know. I said at the start that it would be a 7-game series, but if the Bucks can take this game at home, at Toronto's home,
I think a 5 to 6 game series. I don't see it being a 7-game. Just Milwaukee needs to pull their heads in. I mean, I think they like being under pressure a little bit.
Yeah. If Giannis can have a way better game this game, they'll definitely win, in my opinion.
I mean, I can't see him having 2 bad games in a row.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think he will, but you never know the NBA.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you wanted to discuss?
Well, before we discuss the NBA Live content for next live, I was hoping that these series would end in like 4 games or something, because I think this round 3 will definitely be the best cards-wise, I think.
Yeah, well, it's going to keep going up in overalls, which is going to be great to see.
We'll get to the 97s maybe.
Overalls. It's only taken the whole cycle nearly. But, it's good. They're making us cherish these high overall players rather than just, not even being happy if it's not a 98 or 99 pull in other games like 2K. So.
Yeah. So, last off to finish this podcast, I think we'll finish with the pre-order for live, because I've seen that be talked a lot on Twitter lately. I think you saw something on it about what they could. I saw a vote for saying what you would miss, what you think should be in the pre-order for it because I remember in earlier lives they gave you something. I remember in NBA Live 15 they gave you $30 worth of packs, so it was like 15 free packs or something. So which means you didn't have to spend money straight away.
I'd be happy with if they get a cover athlete, actually make cards for the cover athlete, because Joel Embiid hasn't got any good cards until now. Make some content for the cover athletes and drop a 90 to 92 rated cover athlete for a pre-order.
Maybe bonus. 90, because don't want to go too hype.
It just give us one card to maybe just start off the year with and make all the challenges easier, and and it's something that you can have permanently for showing loyalty to the franchise. Whereas coins they diminish as soon as you buy the packs. Other stuff isn't really worth it. I mean, some physical stuff could be nice, like a exclusive poster or something like that. But I think giving a card for people who take the time to pre-order is the best thing to do.
Well, the question is that will they put in a pre-order? Because I don't know if they will. I mean, it doesn't look likely, but I hope it is. I would like my idea pre-order for Live Ultimate Team would be to get a free high-rated card like an 88 for like the cover athlete or like a legend. I saw someone on Twitter saying maybe make a D Wade or a Dirk Nowitzki card for their retirement. Choose out of those. I think that'd be a good idea. Maybe some coins just to start off. I know you said they'd be a bit diminishing after the start of the game, but I think at least it would start people off, and then maybe like 5-10 packs to get people started on their Ultimate Team.
Yeah, I mean, I think just giving a card would be the best thing to do. It's the best way to show loyalty to the people who started the game and paid to pre-order it. Otherwise, the other stuff just goes away relatively quickly. Yeah, and I think it's something you have for the whole year. And if they go with the same content rate as they did this year, a 90 overall card will be good for like the majority of the year. So it'll be something that, whereas in other games like 2K, if they gave you a 90 rated card, it'd only be good for like the first month. Whereas Live, it could be good for the whole year. And that's really worthwhile and would really get some good, some loyalty within the customers and definitely generate better pre-order sales, in my opinion, for 2021.
Well, I think the 90 rated cards started coming in about Christmas time, where you got a free 90 overall for completing these challenges.
Yeah, and that's like that's a few months.
Yeah, December. So that's like you got September. Yeah, that's like 4 months until you start using them, and then like 92s started coming in like the All-Star promo, and that was like how many months? That was like 2. Yeah, so like 2 months after the 90s drop. So if they're releasing 92s, if they're only starting to release 92s by February, then I definitely think it'd be worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be good to have a 90 overall player would be good for the whole year. And as new content drops, it'll still be a good card. And it should just be the cover athlete, and don't give anything else. Just give, the 90 overall card for pre-order, and that'll be amazing and be beneficial the whole year.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that's the best approach. They could go, giving anything, as incentive for pre-order is great. I mean, they do make Live 19 very affordable in terms of purchase price. So, just increasing the price a little bit and having, maybe a deluxe pre-order edition for the people who really want to try and get ahead in Ultimate Team, and even offer some exclusive one of one, the one, gear, and that will really
that could include
stuff.
It.
And and the Ultimate Team players will stick with the card, and the one players will be happy with their jerseys or headbands, art sleeves, so whatever.
Yeah, they could start out with like a full layout of like shorts, shoes, socks, headband, arm sleeves, and all that stuff, like to get yourself started.
And it could say live 20. Have a jersey just saying like live 20 on it, and like you can only get that jersey if you pre-ordered the game.
Yeah, and I remember in NBA Live 18 they had like a free Allen Iverson to run and like play like the live events, like to use on your team in the one. They had some other pre-order stuff as well. So yeah, I think they should go back to that in Live 20.
Yeah, I think it'll be good having some good pre-order stuff. But I think that pretty much covers everything for this episode.
Yes.
In the description, if you're watching this on YouTube, will be the link to our Twitter and our Anchor, where you can go watch, listen to our stuff on the go on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, whatever tickles you pickle. Leave a like down below and comment on what you want to see next episode, and subscribe for our weekly episode. Anything else you want to add, Tyler?
Any weird comment you're gonna put them, let them put in, like if you made it the whole way?
Oh yeah, just say potato chips if you made it this far. You'll definitely get some bonus points. And until next time, peace.